Welcome back to BYU Sports Nation. We are live in Studio B. It's time now to welcome in friend of the program and a guy who has been covering Big 12 football for a very long time. He is very much an expert and an insider in all things Big 12 Conference. Berry Tramel, columnist for the Tulsa World, is back on BYUSN. Berry, great to talk with you again. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing great. How's things in the great state of Utah?
They're good.
As we count down to opening day.
Yeah, good. A little rainy, but that's trailed off now, and it's just sunshine. Hopefully, as we head into what we hope is a bowl season for BYU football. That said, and we'll talk about the Cougars specifically in a moment, but Berry, if you were writing a column, and maybe you already have or will do this, and you had your top 3 Big 12 storylines to present to readers, what would be at the top of that list as we begin again?
Well, I think the first two come real easy, which are the wild nature of this league, the fun status of Big 12 football, in that nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows who's going to win. Nobody knows who's going to slot into which spots. I mean, it's open range, and we don't have other conferences like that. Certainly, there's a lot of interesting games in the Big Ten and SEC and ACC, but the idea that just about anybody could contend and half the league is a legitimate contender to win the league, that's foreign in college football, modern college football. So it's going to be a fun league. Number 2 is, will the Big 12 get multiple teams in the 12-team college football playoff? Brave new world, new format. Everybody's excited. A lot of teams now get a chance at that college football playoff, but the SEC, the Big Ten, they hold a lot of power. They hold a lot of sway. They've politicked covertly and overtly about all the extra spots. Will they relegate the Big 12 and the ACC to just the league champion? I think that's one thing to keep an eye on. And then number 3, just how will the newcomers fare? Last year we were talking about the 4 newcomers: BYU, Cincinnati, Central Florida, Houston. Lo and behold, we got 4 newcomers. You guys know some of them pretty well. We know one of them a little bit. Used to be in the Big 12, Colorado. So just another year of newness. Here's what I tell people. This is not really the Big 12 conference. It's not the Big 12. It's a new conference. Half the league was not in this conference 14 months ago. Literally half the league was not in the Big 12 14 months ago. So they still got the Big 12 name, but it's a brand new conference.
Let's just call it the brand new conference. All right? We'll call it that, Berry.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Berry, do you fall into the camp that believes that the Big 12 champion will come out of the Oklahoma State-Utah game?
Not necessarily. I think the winner of that game does have the big edge, though. It's the first showdown we've got. We actually have a Kansas State Arizona game, but the Big 12 being the Big 12, that's not a conference game. So, but it is going to be fun. The next week we've got Oklahoma State goes to Kansas State, and I think that's when Utah plays Arizona. So by the end of September, we're going to have a pretty good feel for where some of the best teams fall. You got the graphic showing 5 Big 12 teams in the top 25. I actually think you can throw 3 other teams as potential dark horses to win the conference: Iowa State, West Virginia, and don't sleep on Central Florida. I'll tell you a secret, guys. My friend Jenny Carlson does a podcast. I was on her show back-to-back weeks talking about different things, but she asked me the same question different ways, week 1 and week 2, basically who's going to win the Big 12. The first week, I think I said Utah. The second week, I couldn't remember what I said, so I said Kansas State. I wrote a column last week, and I literally went through every Big 12 game on my own and saying, I think this is going to happen. And then I just charted up the standings, and lo and behold, I had Central Florida finishing second, and I picked them to win in Arlington. So in a matter of 3 weeks, I picked 3 different teams to win the Big 12. So,
hey, at least you've covered your bases 3 times, so you're looking pretty good.
I guess that's what they mean by hedging your bets. I'm not a bettor, but so anything could happen. I don't know. But the one thing I like about this Big 12, the conference, I thought, did a pretty good job of equitable scheduling, right? I mean, I think nobody has a huge advantage. Kansas actually has a fairly easier schedule than most, but it's not terribly one-sided. West Virginia's got a pretty difficult one, but for the most part, Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Arizona, those teams, their conference schedules are pretty close from what we know now. So nod to the Big 12. I think the schedule makers did a pretty good job.
Berry Tramel, columnist for the Tulsa World, is on BYU Sports Nation. Okay, let's talk BYU Oklahoma State, a Friday night game in Provo, and specifically what Cowboys fans are anticipating after BYU pushed them to the brink and almost kept them out of the Big 12 title game last year. What are your initial thoughts and maybe a gauge on the fan base of what Cowboys fans think of a matchup now on the road with BYU?
Well, I think they are those fortunate enough to make the trip. Two things. I think they're really looking forward to it, and I think they're going to really enjoy it. I got to come to the Oklahoma game in Provo last year. I covered BYU back-to-back weeks. Provo against the Sooners, then Saturday, the next week in Stillwater against the Cowboys. So I think they're going to have a blast. I think they're looking forward to it. I think they expect a tough game. You know, the 23 Cowboys made the Big 12 championship game by surviving a variety of close games. That was the season finale. OSU had to beat the Cougars. BYU dominated the first half. As everybody knows, in Provo, the game ended up going to overtime. Cowboys survived. But I think Oklahoma State knows there's really not too many easy outs in the Big 12. I think, was it Brett Yormark called this the deepest conference in America? I don't know if it's the deepest, but I think it's the most parity-driven conference. And that doesn't mean that only that just you have 11 or 12 teams that are pretty good and could do some damage. I think that means the games are close. So I don't know that Oklahoma State is thinking of going to Provo and winning 35-10. I think they're thinking, hey, let's go up there and see if we can win 21-20. So I think they know it'll be a tough fight. You know, BYU so close just against the Oklahoma schools.
Painful.
They're 5-5 going into the last 2 weeks, and the Sooners on the ropes. They had the Cowboys on the ropes. Easily could have won either game, and that would have been a heck of a year for BYU if you sweep the Oklahoma schools. So I think OSU knows that won't be anything easy about that Friday night in Provo.
Berry, you have been able to see how good Gary Bohanon is when he's firing on all cylinders, and we saw that when he was with Baylor. If Bohanon is the guy that ultimately gets the nod as the starting quarterback for BYU and he can return to that form, what do you think that would mean for BYU this year?
Well, I mean, it looks like they need Bohanon to really be a playmaker and not necessarily a star or a difference maker, but I think the Cougars need his leadership and his veteran hand. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of his quarterbacking. I don't know, in the last 15 years, I think Bohanon was one of the least effective Baylor quarterbacks. They've had some really good quarterbacks, and Bohanon seemed like a step down from the Baylor standard. So I was a little bit surprised when BYU brought him in from South Florida and certainly gave him the opportunity to quarterback this team. So I'm not optimistic that he's going to take BYU where it wants to go. He has had some good games, but he's also down, at least at Baylor, he's shown that you can generally find somebody better. So that the Bohanon experiment for the Cougs is not something that has made me optimistic about BYU football in 2024.
As he so often does, Berry Tramel calling it as he sees it. We appreciate the time. Can't wait to enjoy the brand new Big 12 Conference with you, Berry. It gets underway in just a couple of weeks. Be well. We'll talk to you again soon.
You bet. Hope to see you guys in Provo.
You got it.
Thanks,
Berry
Berry.
Tramel.